What if the Saja Boys are victims from the previous music industry? Behind the perfect looks and the insane choreographies, a dark and forgotten lore might be hidden in K-Pop Demon Hunters. Today, we will uncover this tragic story that no one told, and that might change everything about what you think about the Saja Boys. Check it out! Hey beautiful people, I'm Julie, and we all grew up seeing those idols and K-pop stars swimming in money and fame, and we think that we want to be famous and recognized just like they are, right? But imagine this: when you're about to premiere after putting up a ton of effort, you realize that no one cares about you or your group, and that in reality, you're just a small fish in a sea filled with tons of famous people. Frustrating, isn't it? And then you ask yourself, was it all worth it? After all, you've become a nugu, which is someone who's a forgotten or unknown artist. And I think that is exactly what happened to the Saja Boys before they become simple demons under Gwi Ma's orders. And what really supports this theory is that old photo in the weird doctor's office, the one that shows 4 boys. And since the doctor only takes picture with idols, I imagine that those 4 were the Saja Boys when they were still humans. And they probably were not really famous K-pop group. They were rejected by the public, maybe by the media, and maybe even by record companies. But here's the deal: how did they go from humans to Gwi Ma's demons? Who set them up for that? That's really simple. Jinu. The boy must have shown to the 4 of them with a more than tempting proposition: instant fame, success, and recognition by the fans and by the media. Practically everything they've always dreamed of, just a few inches away. But in exchange, well, they have to give up their own humanity, their souls. Basically, stop being who they are to become Gwi Ma's tools. A heavy price, am I right? But with all that success right in front of them, I doubt that they thought about the consequences of their choices. And dude, this theory about these 4 Saja Boys being humans in the past makes total sense to me. Not only because of the picture hanging on the weird doctor's wall, but because of their appearance and behavior too. Look, right at the beginning of the film, when the Huntrix are kicking ass on the plane, they noticed that people on the plane were kinda odd, like if they were afraid of being discovered by the Hunters. Not to mention that one of them was literally pouring coffee on a plant pot. Unlike the Saja Boys, who besides having a really normal human behavior, they know what people like, so much that the lyrics to the song My Little Soda Pop compares a crush with a popular soda. I doubt that regular demons are smart enough to put 2 and 2 together and come up with a lyric and rhythm with a decent timing. Besides that, the demon's appearances is grotesque, deformed, while the Saja Boys really look like humans in their demon form. But you might ask me, why Jinu exactly? Because 400 years ago, when Gwi Ma promised him all the fame and fortune in the world, the demon kind made Jinu abandon his family in exchange for these awards. This pain, this resentment was so great that he promptly accepted Gwi Ma's deal, the one of having his memories erased, finally being free from his suffering after hundreds of years of pain. But that's my interpretation, of course. But as nothing in this life comes from free, Jinu would have recruited these 4 young, successful idols. And I believe that Jinu just accepted that because he wanted his memories gone. Forget everything about his family is a hollow promise. Seriously, Gwi Ma would never, he never had the intention of helping anyone. He just wants to manipulate him to use others as puppets. But wait a minute, because the story about their past isn't over. Because besides following the boys, I also believe that Gwi Ma made them a satire of the industry itself. If you wanna know what I'm really talking about here, don't click away from this video, okay? And don't forget to leave a like in this video, that helps me so much and makes me want to bring you guys new quality content. As I was saying, by my view, the Saja Boys are a mirror of the dark side of the content industry. Not only the Korean one, but the world as one. It's It's almost like if Gwi Ma created those idols to expose the system, its flaws and abuses that many people prefer to ignore. A rotten side that contains exploration, abuse, and illusion. Abby, for example, represents the sexualization of the idols. He's a symbol of the pressure that many idols suffer, especially the younger ones, to stand out with looks, perfect body built with six-pack and a lot of muscles. And he even poses sensually, like lifting part of his shirt or passing his hand through his neck in a seductive way. Abby reflects the way the industry forces the adult shape in bodies that is still in developing, and this happens with both women and men, a way of exploiting the idols, since most of them start their careers while still teenagers. This can cause deep scars in their mental health and self-esteem. Just take a look of the amount of K-pop girls that need to wear mini skirts that are too short, and Abby represents this dark conflict that for many times is invisible to the public, that only sees the glamour. But when the idol isn't over-sexualized, he's over-infantilized, like we see in baby Saja. He represents something the industry commonly shapes, making idols seem innocent as if they were babies in adults' bodies, with sweet voices, delicate gestures, and of course a cute image to attract fans who value this aesthetic. Even though that doesn't seem like much, this pattern reinforces an infantilized vision that prevents the natural growth and maturing of the artists. The fans consume this image, but behind that limitation of idol's true self is being built. And I'm not criticizing people who like this style, but the way the industry distorts the image in your minds. A clear example of that is Marilyn Monroe, who always played the role of an innocent young lady when actually her true personality was of a smart and strong woman, an immaculate image that doesn't match their real lives. But what about romance? He represents parasocial relationships with the My Idol illusion. He is the embodiment of parasocial events, the feeling fans have of a personally knowing the idol, as if they had some sort of special connection with them due to their overexposure in the media. But things go south when the idol decides to have a relationship in his personal real life. Then he's bombarded with attacks from the fandom calling him a cheater that feel deceived just because he's living his own life normally. A great example of this ridiculous practice happened to the Equestria Girls fandom when Twilight was set up to be Flash Sentry's romantic interest, and this left bronies fuming, sending messages to Hasbro threatening them if they didn't change that. And I'm not talking about your average target audience fans. I'm talking about full-grown adults who love a cartoon character romantically. This is the part of the fandom that romance references. Now Mystery represents the mystery, mystique, and privacy violation. He represents the wrong idea that certain idols are mysterious and unachievable figures, when in reality, ironically or not, privacy is the last thing they have. They are constantly monitored by paparazzi, stalkers, and even by their own company, who controls their social media and schedule. This exposition turns their lives into an open book, with no room to error or personal moments. A clear example of that was the case of the singer IU, who had her privacy violated so many times, suffering from obsessed fans and people breaking into her home. It came to the point where she feared answering calls. How far do people go? Man, and Mystery portrays this reality where there is no actual mystery. In reality, they live in a chaotic, stressful prison. To sum everything up, the Saja Boys could be way more than just stylish villains in K-pop Demon Hunters. They were absolutely human before and were part of an unsuccessful boy band, forgotten by everyone. Then the boys decided to make Jinu's tempting offer, success and fame in exchange for their humanity. A really high price that they paid without knowing what was coming. Because in the end, Gwi Ma only wanted more pawns to steal more souls, so they become his slaves. Now tell me which Saja boy is your favorite. Mine is Baby Saja, without thinking twice. Hasta la vista!